Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity, and we are up again with some KSCRAFT, and today I'm going to be doing some snailing. So we're using this set, which is a standalone set. So you get a set of stamps, you get a snail, and you get an envelope that goes onto the snail's back rather than a shell. So what I'm using from this is the envelope, the sending you some love stamp, and the tiny little snail stamp, because I love the way that that matches the snails that I'm using. So I'll turn it that way. I've got my camera dropped down so that you can see what I'm doing today. I'm using that lovely set of heart leaves, which I haven't put back in the bag yet, and all I've done is cut each one once. And we're using the bag topper, but I'm using the little snails. The snails will pop out so that you can use them independently. So I'm using those small little snails. So those are the 3 items from KSCRAFT today, and just popping those down. Whoops, don't want them to glide onto the floor. I have decided to do my little heart-shaped leaves in a turquoisey blue, so I'm just going to pop those there. I've got my little snails. Now I've done them in vanilla. Let's see how close we can go. Ooh, camera is playing up, but I'm not going to complain because it's nice and bright here at the moment. So I've done both snails in vanilla, and if you want to know how I do the eyes, because the eyes cut straight out, just use a little piece of double-sided adhesive on the back. Just keep that piece on so that, you know, it's not sticky on you. But then you've got this sticky bit that you can just drop the eyes into, and that's going to hold it in, and it's going to hold it out of the way. So there's my 2 little snails, and as I was saying, I've cut them in vanilla, and I think that makes them look just a little bit anemic. Yeah, a little bit anemic. So I've got my palette pastels here, my Jane Davenport. This is the lit up set, and I'm going to be using one of the pinks. And of course I've got my trusty old smoochy things, and years olds they are, but they still work, so I love them. Right, and this is the envelope and the sentiment that I stamped. Now my sentiment looks a little bit blotchy, but that's because I've stamped it onto quite a heavy embossed linen cardstock, and that is from Joanne. So the envelope is in 2 shades of pink, and you can see where it's glued into the back there but not showing over the edges. So you can use your envelope however you want to, but I've decided I'm doing mine like that. And for my background, I've done my base, and this is Cosmo Cricket Togetherness. That's what that is. So you can have it whichever way you want, because the butterflies fly in all directions, but I think I'm probably going to have it that way. So that's a real vintage vibe there. That's a better image, and you've got those little stitchy details that I think are really sweet, and they just tie in with the edge. This frame set is from Surprise Creation. Right, so let's colour up those snails, because this is a real quick one today. And first of all, I'm going to put down a piece of cardstock so that I'm not turning my background pink. And I'm going to open up my palette. And I think I'm going to go for that one there, that paler one. So if you've got this set, it's the one that's next to the apricot shade. I do love this set. It's the only one that's got yellow, and it's also got a lovely warm red. Well, it's got a few of them, kind of like blending into corals, and it never really shows up properly, I don't think, in my lighting, because that looks like, you know, I don't know what that looks like on camera. Kind of a slight coffee creamy colour, and it's more of a mustard yellow, but I just love that one for the centres of flowers. It's absolutely awesome. So that pale pink, and all I do is just grab a wand. I mean, you can see how used up and dirty they are. You can brush them off on a bit of kitchen paper and it removes it, but your wand remains dyed, so that doesn't bother me. So I'm just going to pick up just a little bit of pink, and you really do only need ever such a little bit. So kind of test it off on your cardstock before you get stuck in or carried away. And I just want to add a little bit of pink blush to my shell. Make it look a little bit more cheerful. How's your weather? Ours is getting much colder, especially this week, and you have to forgive my throat. But I've got me incandescent garden light bulbs. I've got them strung on my tangerine tree, my orange tree, and my avocado. I'm just absolutely panicking that I don't want to lose them. So when that cold weather does hit us this, well, towards the end of the week, I think, then it'll be more than the incandescent bulbs. I'll be wrapping them in their IKEA blankets. Yeah, I've got these fleece blankets from IKEA. They're really cheap. And if anyone else out there is into gardening, they're only $1.99. And I just use a bunch of bull clips and clip them all together like a big bag. And pop them onto my plants, and it keeps them very happy. Right, so I've got little soft pink shells there, and I think I'm going to put a little bit on the face, so no expense spared, and we're going to have a cheerful little expression. So I'm just going in there. And if you've never coloured with these pastels before, I really do highly recommend them. And if you can't find them at a really good price on eBay, then Jane Davenport website has all of the sets. There are only 3 sets, and I do have all 3. That's how good they are. And I even have pan pastels. And if I want to do a stronger blend on anything, then I think I would probably go to my pan pastels. But for doing your subtles and your pretties, the Jane Davenport ones are just absolutely gorgeous. Right, so that's snails all pinked up. And it's just going to be an easy matter of popping it together. And whether I want to stick anything on foams, I think my snails might go on foams. But I kind of like the idea of having my little card. Let's move that back down there, and all my sprigs. So what I like to do is arrange stuff and go away and glue it and come back. So kind of like the idea of that, I think. Those are my shorter ones. So I do want my taller ones along the background. So I've got a nice bit of scenery going on there, but I don't necessarily want to hide my entire background paper. So I'm going to have more of a space, that one. And then I've got my little bits. I think it might be nice to kind of like come off that edge a bit. And then we need to know where our snails are going to go. So I do know I'm going to pop those up on foam, so they're going to be like a high point on the card. So you kind of want to be able to put stuff where you can bury the end of your stems. But look at how quick and easy that is. And I might pop that one between them and trim it off. So if I lift that up, yeah. Now my snails are a bit skewy, but as you see that blue stuff, I'm taking the snails off. And I do hold it down with my hands like this. I'm going to do one before I run away, because I haven't stuck the envelope down yet. And I just go, first of all, test to make sure you've got glue coming out, and I have. And try not to, you know, chuck stuff about on the paper like I'm doing. Just lift your element up. Squeeze a little bit of glue and just pop it down. You only have to do it in little places just to hold it until you've got it where you want it. And I'm going to go there. Right, I am going to finish adhering and I will be right back. Right, I did actually drop my camera down a lot more, so I'm hoping that there's a lot more clarity there now. It was bright, but now it's gone grey outside, but never mind. Now, I did glue my little bit onto there, and I don't want that to be straight, really. I do want it skew-if. And I'm in an R-in. Do I want to put it on foam pads or do I want to glue it flat? And I think I'm going to glue it flat. Decisions, but there you go. So just a little bit of glue where you think you need it. And I did position these two so that their stems were hidden behind that envelope. Now there is one piece that I haven't glued, and that's this bit, and I kind of wanted it to come between my snails, so I'm going to get some foam pads, my Dollar Tree foam pads here, and I'm going to do my snails. Now if your foam pad is too big, just trim it off. I think I can actually cut this one in half, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'll go straight through the middle, and I can have a bit on each snail. So I've got my foam pads there on my snails, and you'll notice that I haven't glued the stems down yet because I can do that after. So I've got a little bit of dimension there, and I kind of like that in that direction. So now I can see where this is going, so I need to position this. So I'm just dotting it about and a little bit there. I can move my snails and position that one. Right, now that I know that I've got that, I'm going to glue down my stems. So all I do is just gently fold stuff up and put a little touch of glue and give it a press. You only need to do the bits that matter, that's the thing. So if you kind of like observe where your snail is going, and just go behind there. I think that one's going to be okay. So I do like some of the leaves to be poking up because it's nice to have that little bit of dimension on your card. But I do think this is pretty. These snails are just so cute. Just take the back off. Kind of decide where about. I think I'm going to go about there. Kind of in line with the envelope. And then I do want a little bit of space between that one and that one. I think I've got them fairly straight. Before I push that down, I'm just going to look at it. Yeah, and I'll go with that one. And that is what I have for you today. So a different way to use your bag topper, to use that envelope set, which is meant for your actual envelopes. And we've got those leaves, and then it just looks really nice on that pretty background. I do love these vintage papers. Right, I thank you so much for joining me today. I do hope you have an absolutely awesome day, and as usual, all links below. Bye.